The conflict between the United States and Iran has entered a dangerous new phase. Recent reports indicate that American forces carried out heavy airstrikes on Iran's strategic Kharg Island. This island is extremely important because nearly 90% of Iran's crude oil exports pass through this location. Any disruption here has the potential to shake global energy markets. Kharg Island is often described as the heart of Iran's oil economy. Large storage facilities and export terminals handle millions of barrels of oil every day. Because of this, any military strike on this island sends shockwaves across international financial markets. Analysts immediately began calculating how the attack could impact global oil prices. According to statements from Washington, the airstrikes targeted military infrastructure linked to Iran's naval and export operations. American officials claimed that several critical facilities were damaged during the bombing. Satellite images circulating online showed thick smoke rising from parts of the island. However, conflicting reports quickly began to emerge. Iranian media reported that operations resumed on the island within an hour of the strike. Officials claimed that the damage was limited and that export activity continued shortly afterward. If this claim is accurate, it suggests Iran had prepared backup systems to keep oil flowing. Maintaining export capacity during wartime is crucial for Iran's economy. Military analysts believe the strike may have been conducted by a B-2 stealth bomber. These aircraft are capable of penetrating heavily defended airspace and delivering precision strikes. The B-2 is one of the most advanced bombers in the United States arsenal. Its deployment signals the seriousness of the conflict. Observers say the attack could have a strategic objective beyond physical destruction. Some experts believe Washington is attempting to divert Iran's attention away from the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical shipping routes for global energy supplies. Control over this narrow passage can influence the entire world economy. Iran has already warned that it will respond to attacks on its strategic infrastructure. Iranian officials said that retaliation could target military installations belonging to Israel or its allies. Statements from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps suggested that Israeli command infrastructure had already been hit. Independent verification of these claims remains unclear. As tensions escalate, the United States is also increasing its military presence in the Middle East. Reports indicate that a Marine expeditionary unit has been ordered to move toward the region. This force includes thousands of soldiers, along with naval and amphibious support vessels. Such deployments often signal preparation for broader operations. A Marine expeditionary unit is capable of both naval and ground operations. These forces are trained to conduct rapid interventions in crisis zones. Their presence raises speculation about a possible ground escalation if the conflict widens. Military planners often deploy these units as flexible response teams. Some analysts believe the United States may be considering multiple strategies simultaneously. One option is to regain control of maritime routes around the Strait of Hormuz. Another possibility involves targeting Iranian military capabilities through sustained air operations. The geography of Iran makes any ground invasion extremely difficult. Iran's mountainous terrain offers natural defensive advantages. Historically, invading forces have struggled to maintain control over such terrain. Even powerful militaries face logistical challenges when fighting in rugged landscapes. This makes direct ground conflict a risky scenario. While missiles and bombers dominate headlines, another unusual factor has entered the discussion. During migration seasons, millions of birds travel across the Middle East. These birds move between Africa, Iran, and Israel. During spring months, their presence has unexpectedly created challenges for military aviation. Large flocks sometimes appear on radar screens and can be mistaken for drones. This confusion forces air defense systems to react quickly. Insomniasis missiles are launched against unidentified aerial objects that turn out to be birds. Such incidents highlight the chaotic environment of wartime surveillance. Environmental experts warn that conflicts also damage wildlife ecosystems. Previous wars in the Gulf region caused the deaths of thousands of seabirds. Oil spills and burning refineries created toxic conditions for marine life. War rarely spares the natural world. Meanwhile, global tensions are spreading beyond the immediate conflict zone. North Korea recently conducted a ballistic missile launch into the Sea of Japan. Although the launch may be unrelated, it adds to the atmosphere of global instability. Each new incident increases uncertainty in international security. At the political level, leaders continue to make dramatic statements. Public speeches often emphasize strength and determination. Images of political leaders celebrating national power circulate widely in the media. These moments can appear disconnected from the destruction happening on the ground. Military strikes between Iran and its rivals have shown different patterns of damage. Israeli attacks on Iranian energy facilities created massive fires and destruction. Iranian retaliation targeted infrastructure across Gulf states with drones and missiles. However, the scale of destruction differed significantly. Some refineries in Qatar, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia reported temporary shutdowns due to security concerns. Even limited strikes can disrupt complex energy infrastructure. The global oil market reacts quickly to any perceived risk in supply chains. Investors watch every development closely. Despite these disruptions, Iranian oil exports have not completely stopped. Reports suggest that some shipments are still moving through alternative routes. Tankers connected to Russia and China have continued limited movements. These developments complicate Western attempts to isolate Iran economically. American officials argue that the Strait of Hormuz remains technically open. However, ship owners remain cautious due to security risks. Insurance costs for tankers traveling through the region have risen sharply. High insurance costs alone can discourage shipping companies. Energy analysts say Iran's strategy focuses on controlling oil flow rather than stopping it entirely. By restricting supply routes, Tehran can pressure global markets. Even small reductions in supply can push prices higher. Oil has always been both an economic and political weapon. Financial publications report that Iran's missile activities have already trapped a significant portion of global oil supply. Some estimates suggest nearly 15% of global shipments are affected. This level of disruption has not been seen since major energy crises of the past century. Markets fear a prolonged conflict. Economic experts warn that no leader can fully control global markets during wartime. Political decisions often trigger unexpected financial reactions. Traders, investors, and governments all respond differently to new developments. War introduces uncertainty into every economic calculation. Kharg Island itself is a small but strategically powerful location. Iranian officials often refer to it as a protected zone due to its importance. Foreign visitors are rarely allowed to enter the island. Security around the facility has always been extremely tight. Before the war intensified, Kharg Island exported millions of barrels of oil daily. Large storage tanks hold tens of millions of barrels ready for shipment. These exports provide a major source of revenue for Iran's economy. Losing this facility would be a severe financial blow. Because of this importance, the strike on Kharg Island attracted global attention. Military analysts debated whether the attack would shift the balance of the conflict. Some believe the strike was intended mainly as a political signal. Others see it as part of a larger economic strategy. While the military battle continues, a parallel diplomatic battle is unfolding. Countries across Europe are attempting to negotiate safe passage for energy shipments. Several leaders have contacted Iranian officials to discuss shipping security. These talks highlight the interconnected nature of global energy politics. Russia has also gained financially from the conflict. Higher oil prices increase revenue for energy exporters. Some estimates suggest Russia could earn hundreds of millions of dollars each day due to rising prices. These dynamics complicate international alliances. European governments worry that lifting certain energy restrictions could strengthen Russia. At the same time, they face pressure to stabilize global oil markets. Balancing economic needs with political strategies has become increasingly difficult. Energy policy is now tightly linked with geopolitics. Observers say Iran has managed to bring many global powers into negotiations. Even countries that oppose Tehran are now forced to communicate with its leadership. Diplomacy becomes unavoidable when global energy supply is at risk. In this sense, Iran still holds significant leverage. Some Israeli analysts have admitted that expected quick results from the war have not materialized. The conflict has become more complex than originally predicted. Military victories do not always translate into strategic success. Long wars often produce unpredictable outcomes. Another concern is the humanitarian cost of the conflict. Civilian areas have been hit repeatedly during airstrikes. Reports indicate thousands of civilian casualties and millions displaced from their homes. War always affects ordinary people more than political leaders. Cultural heritage sites and historic buildings have also suffered damage. These losses represent more than physical destruction. They erase parts of a nation's historical identity. Rebuilding such heritage takes decades. Across the Middle East, millions of migrant workers face growing risks. Many workers come from South Asian countries, including India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Their safety depends on stable economic conditions in Gulf states. Escalating conflict threatens these livelihoods. Some reports indicate that international banks and wealthy investors are moving assets out of the region. Switzerland has become a major destination for financial transfers. Wealth often moves quickly during geopolitical crises. Ordinary citizens rarely have the same ability to protect their resources. Investigative journalists have also raised questions about military strategies that affect civilians. Some programs designed to reduce civilian casualties were reportedly canceled. Critics argue that this decision increases the human cost of warfare. Civilian protection remains a major global concern. According to international reports, more than 1,000 civilians have already died in the conflict. Schools, hospitals, and residential areas have suffered heavy damage. Millions of people have been forced to leave their homes. These statistics highlight the devastating consequences of modern warfare. War coverage often focuses on weapons, missiles, and political speeches. Yet the deeper story lies in the lives disrupted by violence. Families lose homes, communities lose stability, and economies collapse. These human stories rarely dominate headlines. As the conflict continues, the future remains uncertain. Political leaders claim victory while destruction continues across the region. The global economy reacts with fear and volatility. The real cost of war will be measured long after the fighting stops.